Exclusive, we couldn't pay the rent. Love Island's Shaughna Phillips reveals her family was almost made homeless while her late father Eddie was dying from cancer. Shaughna Phillips has revealed that her family was almost made homelessness while her late father Eddie was dying from cancer. Speaking exclusively to MailOnline, the Love Island star, 27, reflected on the struggles she faced when her father, Eddie, passed away almost 5 years ago. She is now urging people to host a coffee morning to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support, after the charity came to her family's rescue. Shaugna explained, "My dad was diagnosed with cancer in September 2015. He was a black cab driver in London. They're self-employed and work for themselves. Most people don't realize that. So when he couldn't work anymore, he didn't get paid. There's no sick leave when you're self-employed. When people get cancer, all you think about is, God, I hope they get through. You don't think about the impact on the whole family. We couldn't pay the rent. Macmillan came to the rescue. My mum as a lawyer contributed as much as she could, but it was quite a bit of shame for my dad, not being able to support the family financially. It had an impact on his mental state." The Love Island star praised the charity for their financial support, and explained how 3 months after her father's diagnosis, they helped to secure them new accommodation. She said, "Macmillan gave us these 2 grants, and that relief completely changed his whole mood. I'm still in such debt to them. They're the only reason we weren't homeless. We tried to get help from the government, but that didn't work. Macmillan also got in touch with our local MP on our behalf and managed to get us a house. We found out on Christmas Eve that we were able to move into a house that accepted pets, so we could take our dog. I can't explain how much we owe Macmillan." As well as the assistance with finance and housing, Shaugna also touched on how much Macmillan's emotional support helped her father. She said, "When we got in touch with Macmillan for help, it led on to bigger conversations that my dad felt like he couldn't have with my mum. Just seeing the difference on my dad after he had confidential chats with Macmillan, was huge. And the debt she owes to the charity is not lost on the reality star, as she laughed while saying, 'My dad would be looking down on me right now like, you better do this.'" Shaugna admitted that there are times when she finds it hard to talk about losing her dad, and confessed that she's possibly buried some painful memories but isn't interested in having therapy to resolve them. She said, "You go through ebbs and flows. When I do things like this for Macmillan, I go on autopilot. It was only when I was being interviewed on camera for the full Monty about details of what my dad went through, that I realized I'd never spoken about it. I've probably buried some painful memories that I haven't gone back to. When my dad did pass away, my aunt, my dad's sister, went to therapy straight away, and she still goes to therapy. For me, the only reason I wouldn't is because I could discuss these painful memories, but I'm still gonna be about my dad when I leave. There's nothing that can make that better. I'd go to therapy for other things though." Heartbreakingly, Shaugna confessed that grief doesn't get easier to deal with, but talking about it helps you to accept the loss. The Love Islander said, "You just get better at functioning with it, grief. You learn to accept the ache in your heart that you just have continuously. I've never bottled it up and I've never denied myself crying. Even when my dad was ill, you don't accept it until the very end, but I didn't play it down to myself. I have no regrets. There's never enough time, but anything I wanted to say to him I did. I had that time." Asked if she could say something to her dad now, Shaugna joked that she'd tell him, "I can only apologize for Love Island." She added, while laughing, "My mum bumped into a friend the other week, who said her dad would have been so proud of her on Love Island, and my mum said, if her dad was still here, Shaugna wouldn't have been on Love Island." On the positive side, the reality stunner admitted, "I am grateful for Love Island because now I have this platform and can work with Macmillan and Cancer Research UK, and I've done full Monty. I'll never turn down a job that's about raising awareness of cancer." Shaugna explained that she celebrates her dad's life by always talking about him and reminiscing about fond memories with her mum. She said, "I talk about him all the time. Me and my mum will have jokes and remember when he did this. There's a poem I love which basically says don't shy away from saying my name. All is the same as it's ever been. I do like to treat it like that. Even though it's painful, the idea of not talking about someone who was in my life every day, seems so strange to me. We were friends, we were close, so I have so many fond memories. I used to go to Arsenal with him all the time. That was our time. I can understand people's hesitancy to bring him up. When friends are talking about their dads, they might feel like it's better to not ask me, but ask me. I can tell you what he would have done and I'd rather be in the conversation. I had a dad. I have a dad. Shaugna is urging people to host a coffee morning to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support and help the charity continue to deliver vital services for people with cancer.